What happens when a major Hollywood action star walks onto a daytime talk show and the whole set turns into a pressure cooker? No one in Studio 1A expected the morning to go sideways, but the minute Vin Diesel took his seat across from Joy Behar, the vibe changed. Viewers would later say they sensed the shift before the panel did. Maybe it was the way Joy's smile didn't match her eyes. Maybe it was the way Vin sat down a little too relaxed, unaware of what he was walking into. The morning had started like any other. Joy arrived early with her usual coffee, flipping through her cue cards while the crew set the table. Vin Diesel was on the schedule to promote his latest movie and chat about his family. Standard stuff. Nothing about the rundown hinted at chaos. But Joy's assistant noticed something odd. Joy kept checking her phone, muttering things like Hollywood polish and fake personas. It was clear something was brewing. As the theme music faded, Whoopi welcomed viewers with her warm intro. The rest of the panel greeted the crowd like they always do. Laughter, light chatter, easy air. No one had a clue what was about to break. Joy introduced Vin with a tone that carried a small edge. Subtle, but sharp enough for the crew to glance at one another. Here to talk about his movie and maybe his real life, she said. Vin walked in with his usual calm grin, waving at the cheering audience. He sat down with a friendly, "Thanks for having me," not knowing the storm waiting for him on live TV. That first smile was the last easy moment before everything unraveled. Vin settled in, ready for the usual fun morning chat. The audience was hyped, phones out, excited to see the action star up close. He leaned back, expecting playful questions and jokes about his movie. Instead, Joy leaned forward and fired the first shot. "Well, well, look who showed up. Tell me, Vin, do you actually believe that tough guy image you sell? Or is it just another act for the cameras?" The question hit like a sudden cold wind. The room changed. Conversation stopped. Even the crew froze. This wasn't friendly banter. This was a challenge. Vin blinked, unsure if he heard her right. "Excuse me? What are you asking?" His tone stayed steady, but his shoulders stiffened. Joy didn't soften. She pushed harder. Her voice raised just a touch. "You've built this whole brand. Family man, tough guy, the good guy, on and off screen. But let's talk truth. Who are you when there's no script?" Audience members shifted in their seats. Some looked at each other. Even Whoopi looked caught off guard, like she wanted to jump in but didn't know how. Vin took a breath. You could see him trying to stay calm. "Joy, I came here to talk about my work. I'm the same person on and off screen. I don't put on an act. This is me." "Oh, please. You really think we can't see the image machine behind you?" That moment was the spark. What followed was a wildfire. Silence wrapped around the studio. You could hear the hum of the cameras. The panel glanced at each other, unsure who would step in first. Then leaned forward with a look that said he was done smiling through it. "I don't know what you're trying to do today, but if this is about picking a fight, you picked the wrong reason." Joy didn't back down. She pushed harder, her voice rising just a touch. "No fight, just honesty. Your whole persona, the brotherhood with castmates, the family talk, the humble story, you expect us to believe it's all untouched by PR?" The room went still. Vin's jaw clenched. "You're reading way too much into something that isn't there." Joy fired back fast. "Am I? Or is the truth harder for you to handle than the script you came here to promote?" The other hosts looked shaken. This was supposed to be a cheerful promo. Instead, they were stuck watching a live confrontation. Whoopi tried again to cut in, but Joy waved her off without breaking eye contact with Vin. Every camera zoomed closer. Every breath in the studio felt heavier. And that's when Vin stopped trying to play nice. Vin finally leaned all the way forward, elbows on the table, voice steady but sharp. "Joy, I came here out of respect for you in this show. I didn't come here to get torn apart by someone who makes drama for ratings." Gasps broke out in the crowd. Joy's eyes widened, then narrowed. "Oh yeah? So now I'm the problem, not the actor who hides behind a polished public image?" He shot back, "You're attacking me for no reason. You're calling me fake when you've never spent one day with me off set." Joy pointed her finger at him. "There it is, the real Vin Diesel, defensive, arrogant, exactly what I knew would come out." The audience was frozen. No claps, no laughs, just shock. Vin shook his head. "You're putting words in my mouth because it makes for a moment. This isn't a real conversation." Joy stood her ground. "This is a conversation. You just don't like where it's going." What she said next pushed everything past the point of no return. Joy leaned in so close, the table mic picked up every breath. "How does it feel," she said slowly, "knowing your whole fan base fell in love with a version of you that isn't real?" The air got heavy. Vin stared at her, stunned. The audience murmured. Even the camera operators took a step back. He finally spoke. "That's not fair, and you know it. You don't get to judge my life when you don't know anything about me." Joy didn't blink. "I know enough to see through a crafted image." Something cracked in Vin's voice. "You're not want truth. You want a target." Joy smirked. "A hit dog hollers." The crowd gasped. Vin's hands tightened on the armrests. "You're not asking questions. You're attacking me." Joy rolled her eyes. "If you can't handle tough questions, don't come on the show." But this was no longer about questions. It was about pride, power, and who would break first. Whoopi tried again to step in, but Joy snapped. "Don't protect him." This was the moment the panel realized Joy had lost control of the interview, and maybe of herself. She stood up halfway and pointed again. "You think your success gives you a shield. You think all those movies let you walk in here with a smile and expect everyone to play along." Vin raised his voice for the first time. "Stop twisting this. You're angry at something that has nothing to do with me." Joy laughed sharply. "Please, you actors are all the same, charming, rehearsed, and fake." Vin's face changed. Calm turned to something harder. He stood up slightly from his seat. "You want to talk about fake? You attack people for a living and call it honesty." Joy's breath hitched. Her co-host stared at her, waiting to see if she would sit back down. She didn't.
Joy's voice jumped an octave. "I built my career asking hard questions. I've earned my place here. You got handed fame because Hollywood liked your luck." You could feel the audience recoil. Vin stepped closer. "Don't insult where I came from. I worked for everything I have." Joy shot back. "You worked? Try being a woman in this industry who refused to play nice." Vin replied fast. "Everyone struggles. You don't get to use yours to attack me." Joy's hands shook. "You don't know a thing about my life." "And you know nothing about mine," Vin said, calmer now, but firm. "Yet here you are acting like you do." The tension had reached a breaking point. Both were standing now, eye to eye, neither willing to sit or step back. And then Joy said something that brought the entire room to a halt. Joy's voice dropped to a whisper. "Get out." The studio froze. "Get out of my studio before I say something I can't take back," she added, trembling with rage. Vin stared at her. The audience waited. The crew waited. Even the camera seemed to hesitate. After a long moment, Vin turned toward the camera. "I'm sorry you had to see this. I came here to talk about my work. Instead, I walked into something personal. This isn't what this show stands for." Joy exploded. "Don't apologize for me!" Vin turned back to her, disappointment in his eyes. The only person who hurt your career today was you." He walked off, and Joy Behar, for the first time on live TV, looked shaken, unsure of her next move. But the aftermath was even bigger. Joy stood frozen. The audience whispered. Crew members rushed around, unsure what to do. Someone yelled for a commercial break, but the cameras kept rolling for a few more seconds that felt like minutes. Joy slumped into her chair. The adrenaline drained from her face. She looked around the room like she was waking up from a dream she couldn't control. "Cut the show," she finally said, voice barely above a breath. When the lights dimmed, she looked small, heavy, like she knew she had crossed a line she couldn't uncross. The producers huddled, trying to figure out how to manage the biggest meltdown in daytime TV history. But the story wasn't over. It was only beginning to spread online. Clips hit social media before the commercial break ended. Fans debated who was right, who was wrong, and how a simple promo turned into something that felt like a psychological showdown. Some blamed Joy. Some blamed Vin. Most were shocked that a simple promo turned into something that felt like a raw, unfiltered clash between two powerful personalities. But one thing was clear. No one would forget what happened that day. And viewers couldn't stop asking the same question. Who crossed the line first? Make sure to like, subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments, because this kind of moment doesn't happen often on live TV.